Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dominique Fernandez, and I stand before you today, a college student through CCRI and minutes away from being a Year Up alumni. I also stand before you, a former homeless person and a recovering addict. My life before Year Up was never a simple task. May 19th, 1991, 8:36 a.m., a baby girl was whisked away from her mom to be sent to detox. From birth, neither of my parents were my parents. When living with my mom, I had to deal with coming home to no food, no heat, and no electricity. I went to live with my father, but that was not better. I kept moving back and forth between these places. You name it, and I guarantee I went through it. Trying so hard to find a place where I could be happy, I stumbled upon places I desperately wanted to leave. I went back to my mother's, hoping that things had changed, but they hadn't. I found myself back at my father's. People say you don't know, excuse me. People say you don't know, what you don't know won't hurt you, but it was not knowing that hurt me so much. After high school, I had been working at the Boys and Girls Club and started my journey on becoming a college student. But having a place to live and food to eat became more important, so I put my education on hold. At my dad's, the bills began to pile, and we received eviction notice after eviction notice. We sold furniture to make ends meet. My family split up, and leaving my home without any idea of where I was going to live was the scariest thing I've had to do. I stayed with my stepmother, but she fell into a downward spiral with my father that continued long after he was gone. We moved around from house to house. During this time moving around, I was looking for a place to go, something to do. I heard about a program called Year Up through a friend that is here today. Thank you, Doreen. So I don't remember getting a ride or taking the bus. I just remember being on the couch at Year Up with the pamphlets in my hand, wanting to do this. I filled out the forms, went on an interview, and had 5 more interviews. I remember that I was so nervous, but I made it. However, the housing challenges didn't stop with my acceptance, but I wouldn't let it affect my performance. I wanted to hold on to this program like a rabbit's foot, my charmed opportunity. I eventually found myself checking into Crossroads, the place you go when there's no home to go to. I cried the moment I stepped into the building on Broad Street. I learned I'd be sleeping in the kitchen on a cot with a sheet. The rooms had 2 sets of bunk beds, which came with 4 different attitudes and was rented out by every type of bug. It was hard to go to sleep at night and stay awake through the day. Lights came on and off at set times, and we had to leave the shelter by 10 a.m. and couldn't come back until later in the day. You got 1 single meal. I wondered, what about the people who have nowhere else to go or no money for food? I could at least visit with my grandmother. Although I struggled at this point in my life, and it made me feel worse than ever, I still got up every day and attended Year Up. Being accepted to Year Up didn't just mean doing a program for a year. It meant I'd have an income. I'd be doing something positive with my life. I'd be enrolled in CCRI, receiving 23 college credits, and it also meant that I was given the opportunity to turn my life around. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but no matter the battles I faced, I strived for the best. At Year Up, I would go in early, stay late, and did my work on time. I wanted to make it impossible for the staff to regret accepting me. I was determined to turn my life around. No more would I let the mistakes of others affect me in my life. I was finally taking control. I started my life in detox at the hospital, but I earned my spot at Lifespan Rhode Island Hospital for my internship. Year Up just doesn't teach you technical skills. It gives you the tools you need to survive. It teaches you how to be a young professional. Year Up staff gives you the guidance you need to make it in life and help you see life through different eyes so you realize the world isn't so scary. Year Up is truly like no other organization. We have this amazing staff that is committed to helping you during the program and far after you're done, whether you make it to the finish line or not. In school, I never had good grades, and I passed by the skin of my teeth, and I always hated going, but Europe was different. For once, I felt like I was somewhere I fit in. Sure, I was shy when I first started, but that's normal entering a new environment. Europe became my home away from home. In fact, I stopped by every day after work. The staff and students became like family to me. Europe is about you and me and all of us in this room today. It's about giving a chance to someone who didn't necessarily have a clear path. No one can choose their parents or their financial status or how they were brought up, but we have the power to make a change. And that's why I stand before you today. I chose to make a change. I had the chance to transform my life in a single year, and I want to leave you with one thought. Every second passed is another chance to change it all around. Thank you.